Hello, my friend. I wanted to talk to you today about making mistakes, daring to make mistakes, and not staying in this position of paralysis when you're so afraid of making mistakes that you daren't do anything at all anymore. I learned a lot about this by being an artist. From when I was 15 years old, I experimented with oil paints. And if there's anything to terrify you, it is a blank canvas on which you have to start putting some paint, and the fear of messing that up is very similar to the anxiety you feel about messing up anything in your life. So, as you know, what happens often in that situation is that you become so afraid that you don't try anymore. I was very inspired by Vincent van Gogh, a Dutch painter who I admired greatly as a child, and I went to the Van Gogh Museum and the Kröller-Müller Museum, and I was very familiar with his work, and he's influenced me greatly. Van Gogh wrote some very interesting things about his art and about his life, and here is a quote from him. He said, "Many painters are afraid of the blank canvas, but the blank canvas is afraid of the truly passionate painter who dares and who has once broken the spell of 'you can't.' That's it. Stop fearing that you can't and begin to experiment and figure out how you can." So he carries on. "Life itself, likewise, always turns towards one an infinitely meaningless, discouraging, dispiriting, blank side on which there is nothing any more than on a blank canvas. But however meaningless and vain, however dead life appears, the man of faith, of energy, of warmth, and who knows something, doesn't let himself or herself be fobbed off like that. He or she steps in and does something and hangs on to that. This is it, my friend. Stop being afraid of making mistakes. Stop being afraid of your life and start experimenting with your life and start discovering that you can, and that the more you experiment and the more you take a risk and the more you have fun with it, the more the blank canvas becomes your friend, because you will see how many possibilities there are to make something truly beautiful out of it. Now, I'm not a great painter, but when I look at some of the paintings I have done, I still like to look at the images I have created. And I know that it's been worth my while to learn, to dare to express myself in oil paints. And in the same way, no matter what goes wrong in my life, I know that I will always have a go, experiment, try to find an answer, try to find a solution, and just keep going, learning new things until something that's difficult or wrong gets better. And sometimes, my friend, it takes weeks or months, and often even years or decades. But if you see it as a challenge, as a question to you, to which you have to find an answer, as a space into which you need to dare to step, if you see it in that way, as an invitation, you will enjoy the process, and you will build yourself and grow, and you will get better at this being alive thing, at this living business, and you'll stop being quite so afraid of it. And that all comes from not letting yourself be intimidated by difficulties or by the possibility of making mistakes. Ease up, have a go, experiment, dare to learn, my friend, and dare to enjoy it while you do that as well. It doesn't all have to be difficult. It can be enjoyable too. Take good care, my friend. See what happens.